Mami'ith, Tambemouche. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Bramble On, where we cover the most compelling plot points, as well as the minutiae, of current episodes of Love Among the Brambles, now in its 1771st record-breaking season. As you recall, at the end of last season, we summed up with 2 Holyloom episodes. We had the Yuleshod holiday special and the Stessa self-care day special. Prior to that, however, we had episode 15934, entitled Untidy Bows. This episode followed the freezing of the members of the Ring by the faunwitch at the ball. We know that Dodd Hoskins was instrumental in warming up the Fae, he being human, and thus bringing them back to life. The final episode ended with Viola treating Dodd for PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, that he felt as a result of the situation. We know that some random male, went to Calla Lily's house, arranged, ostensibly, presumably, by Raffia to break up her and Carter the Courter. As you recall, Carter was sent to woo Calla Lily on behalf of his cousin Raffia, to try to get information that would ultimately lead to the demise of the Brambles. It backfired when Calla Lily and Carter developed actual feelings for one another, and now this random male enters the situation, which could cause undue stress on the relationship, if not ruin the new budding relationship between Callie and Carter the Courter. Slate was having a chinwag with Stock. As we recall, Dahlia the Dalliance, Slate's Monte Cassino bride, is gone. She's left. Citron, in the final episode of last season, went with the mayor to the Transit Authority representative's house, Bernie Schwartzel, to get things sped up before the Holyloom. While there, Bernie made a pass at Citron, not realizing that she is Fae, and there was a rather cute scene with her untangling Christmas lights. Nanny and Milliam invite Magnolia, of all people, to dine with them at their home, in thanks for Magnolia preventing the house from blowing up when, as has historically been the case, Milliam dabbled with some never-clear starshine and an open flame. Magnolia ended up staying with Pearl and Milliam, finding a sense of home and family in that situation. Brooke, ever the wallflower and dormouse, with no confidence, now that he has found out that he truly possesses unicorn blood, he is unstoppable. His confidence is over the rainbow. He is now working at Seeley Hall and has taken over the Transit Authority meeting when Dodd was unable to handle the situation. We already mentioned that Citron and Mayor Hollow went to Bernie Schwartzel's house. Will there finally be some movement with the situation? For many, many seasons, as we know, the mayor has unsuccessfully attempted to get the Transit Authority to agree to move their proposed highway around the ferry mound instead of through it, at the same time not being able to reveal that he himself, the mayor, is a fae. At the end of last season, Raffia and Lena were conspiring, teaming up to get rid of the Brambles once and for all, as well as Dodd, presumably to off them all. And that is where we now pick up. In addition to the 2 Holyloom episodes that rounded out last season, we begin with one this season, not in real time, however. Dim Q, specifically the planet known as Gaia, what some miscall Earth, has been plagued with a plague, and thus all is cattywampus. Things are not coming out when they should, or as they should. The episode that had been created last year, last seckle, for Nasher Gelida, the surrender of Gelida, it is a February 1st in the local reckoning calendar, Holyloom, that celebrates the midwinter surrender of cold to spring. In other words, February 1st, the coldest day, and it will only get more and more temperate until spring arrives. Gelida, of course, being the goddess of cold and ice and snow and winter, and Ignacio being the god of warmth and fire that will melt Gelida's heart. That episode is being played at the beginning of this season, even though it was broadcast more than a seckle ago. We've just now gotten hold of it. Now, to today's first true bona fide episode of season 1771. We have episode 15935, Fully Engaged. We will start as we always do with Viola. Well, it may or may not come as a surprise that the name of the episode refers to an engagement party. Yes, there is an engagement party, one that Viola attends with Stock. They are very, very lovey-dovey, and the guests are all a Twitter. However, the engagement party is actually for Calla Lily and Carter the Quarter, cousin to Prince Raffia. They overcame their issue with Rando, the random guy. His actual name is Randall. It brought them closer. And here they are engaged, much to the surprise of viewers, castmates, and so on. Slate and Citron are noticeably absent, much to the dismay, sorrow, and disappointment of their sister Calla Lily. What has happened is that the actor who plays Slate was given the opportunity not only to star in a play, but direct, which has been his goal and professional dream throughout his life. Now, you'll note that I am not mentioning the actors' names, as some of you may or may not know. When one signs on to Love Among the Brambles, one dispenses with one's own persona. When you are out in public, you are Slate, you are Citron. The names of the actors are not listed in what are called the credits of the show. That's part of the contract these players sign, and it is what has kept up the illusion of these characters on Love Among the Brambles being real for all these millennia, is that the actors' names are not used. That has come in handy to a degree, because these characters are so interdimensionally famous that it would be very easy for one of the actors to be typecast. And that had happened in the early days, and I believe that is what led to these contract negotiations that involved the anonymity of the actors. I recently learned that my favorite cinematic film of all time, called Amadeus, nearly starred the person who played it to great acclaim on Broadway, played the character of Mozart. However, he was discarded. He was turned down for the role because he was too famous for playing Luke Skywalker of Star Wars. Now, that theatrical actor, Mark Hamill, is someone I admire greatly. His attitude of positivity, his love of his craft, his selflessness. If you've ever heard him interviewed, you will enjoy the interview more than anything you've seen him done. His work ethic is incomparable. Well, that is my favorite movie, and he's one of my favorite actors, and to think I missed out on seeing him in that role because the producers didn't want the kid from Star Wars. So, the theatricals who play Slate and Citron do not have to worry about that. Slate has taken himself out of the lead role of the play to direct it, and the theatricus who plays Citron has been cast as the female lead. There is a several-month run. Slate is then going to take the production on tour, so he will be gone theoretically longer. Crafty writers that they are, they have written that into the script of Love Among the Brambles, saying that Slate has gone off to deal with his mental state following the dissolution of his mariage to Dahlia the Dalliance. And as we know, she's off the show too, and no love lost there. What they are doing with Citron being gone is they are saying that she had gone to purchase a gift, I believe, for Callie, involving taking ancient ley line, and in so doing, she has gotten lost or has not been able to reconnect with a ley line that will get her home. Even sadder, Pearl, Nanny Nettlebottom, is absent at her own granddaughter's engagement party. The granddaughter who has a special place in her heart due to Calla Lily's fragility. And why, do you ask, would Nanny ever miss it? Again, it is due to the theatrical, the actress, who quite frankly is too ill to perform on the show at present. Because of the myriad afflictions Nanny has suffered over the years, the writers have decided to say Nanny is too unwell to come, and that she is in a twilight sleep, unable to be awakened, rather like a very light coma. That's the only way I can put it. And she can have no visitors because she could be startled awake and it could do serious damage. It could cause her to have such a fright that she would have a heart attack and perish. In the absence of her family, Calla Lily is distraught. Viola is there, thank goodness. But Magnolia fills the void and becomes chummy with Calla Lily. No one ever saw that coming. Even more interesting, during the festivities as they wind down, Magnolia sneaks off for a tryst with a random male. Any random male, you ask? No, Randall, the one sent to break up, unsuccessfully, Calla Lily and Carter the Quarter. Magnolia confesses to Brooke that she is leaving the party for that very reason when he catches her ducking out the back. Moving on to Stock. As we know, things have never been better between him and Viola. He's smitten, he always has been. However, unbeknownst to her, he has just been offered a research position that is a dream for him in the place that has the most orchid species on the planet, something akin in their dimension to what is our New Guinea rainforest. As you know, different dimensions parallel one another in certain ways. As USA Today reports about this rainforest, it is 111,197 square miles. Located in Papua New Guinea, it comprises 65% of the land of New Guinea, the world's second largest island. The New Guinea rainforest is home to creatures and plants found nowhere else on Gaia. The largest rainforest in the Asia-Pacific region contains tree kangaroos, birds of paradise, and rare orchids, as well as a genetically unique human population. Could they be Fae? The diversity there is so great that researchers have barely scratched the surface in documenting species. As you can see, this is quite an opportunity for our stock. The rainforest, which covers parts of Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, is facing a severe threat from a projected 2,700-mile highway proposed by their local transit authority, which has been under construction since 2013. You should get Citron involved. She could put a stop to that. Were she on the show right now? In addition to construction-related deforestation, the roads in the rainforest will destroy habitats, open pristine regions to mining and industry, and increase the likelihood of toxic runoff that could damage coral reefs off the coast. Oh, it's much too heartbreaking. Perhaps we should start a petition, one doesn't know. All the more reason Stock feels compelled to accept the position in Papua New Guinea, not only to research the orchids and species, but to save the region. However, what would that do to his relationship with Viola? What, Molly? Oh, this is interesting. My producer Molly has just let me know that the Papua New Guinea mentioned is not Dimension Omicron's version of it. It is the Papua New Guinea here in Dimension Q. So Slate would be moving to Gaia in Dimension Q. That is a very sticky wicket if he is to maintain a relationship with Viola. I need a drink. An unfrosted blueberry Pop-Tart and coffee with cream. Breakfast of heroes. Moving on to Brooke. He is, for lack of a better term, peacocking about at the engagement party. Again, flush with confidence now that he's a unicorn, or at least of unicorn heritage. And as always, he shows up wearing a horn dead center on his forehead. Viola offers sage advice, saying he should take it off occasionally as he is developing an unsightly rash around the edge of the horn. He snaps at Viola, saying she's just jealous. She's not. Brooke a little bit high-stepping in his unicorn hooves these days. Mayor Cairn, in an interesting turn, is doing wonderfully, thanks to Citron and to Bernie Schwartzel being keen on her, and the mayor has never had a higher approval rating. He has emerged triumphant in his bid to get the transit authority to make a detour of the highway around the ferry mound. He is victorious. However, where does this leave him? For so long, for so many seasons, this has been his focus, almost his raison d'être. What will become the mayor now? What use is he? Mentioned Nanny is supposedly home and unwell. Milliam attends the party with Dodd, and in his worry about Nanny, he himself, Milliam, is beginning to slow down. As a result, Dodd moves in with Nanny and Old Mill to take care of them both. We'd mentioned that Magnolia last season at the end had been staying with Nanny and Milliam. That was brief. That was just a little bit of a holiday to warm her cockles and make her feel loved. In the absence of Slate, Citron, and Nanny, some other characters have been moved into regular positions. We already had Raffia now and again. Here he is at the engagement party. Again, it's his cousin, Carter, who's engaged. Raffia is drunk. He tries to break up the party. He arrives with Lena, who is quite full of herself, matching the bravado of Brooke, now that she has the air and arm of the Prince of the Unseelie Court. We mentioned Dodd has moved in with Milliam and Nanny. He's helping to make home improvements while there. He's learning about Fey lore, and while at the party, being quite strong as a human with non-brittle bones, he tries to encourage Raffia to ease off, not to cause a scene. Carter is uncomfortable during his engagement party because he knows that Raffia does not approve of the engagement. At the same time, he's trying to atone to Calla Lily's family, even though half of them are gone. And just when we think there could be no greater drama infused into the proceedings, the faunwitch arrives. The faunwitch, who seasons ago was just a faun in the forest. Viola was instrumental in returning her to human form. She wreaked havoc at the Grand Mez Ball last season, freezing everyone, and now she crashes the engagement party. When she is told by Lena to get lost, that she has no business being there, she says, "Oh yes, I do. I am here for my nephew." All look around, wondering who her nephew could be. The drunken Raffia approaches her, scrutinizing her, saying, "You look familiar. Who are you? I know you somewhere." And she says, the faunwitch, "I should hope so, considering I am your mother." The faunwitch, now a fey witch, is in fact Raffia's mother. Her name, Kalista. She'd been cursed by her sister, her jealous older sister, for being a witch at a time that it was considered blasphemous for a fey to be a witch. So she's no longer a faun witch. She has gone back to her original fey witch self, Kalista, mother to Prince Raffia, aunt to Carter the Courter. Raffia breaks down, saying, "This is impossible. I was always told my mother died in childbirth." She said that obviously she did not, and that when she was a new mother, that's when her own sister turned her in. Raffia had been ill as a baby. Kalista's sister caught her using sorcery, witch sorcery, to help her child, to ease his fever. And that is when Kalista was arrested, charged with witchcraft, and cursed, shunned, sent out to the ring. This was all in the Seelie court. Raffia was cast out as well, not wanting to leave him for dead. The Seelie elders at the time made an arrangement for him to be adopted into the Unseelie community where he has been raised. By the community in general, no one person raising him as mother or father. The whole idea of it takes a village to raise a child. The Unseelie is more of a communal situation. Well, if that isn't a season opener. And I, for one, am not surprised one bit to learn that the rating this episode received was not the maximum of 5 mushrooms, but 5 mushrooms and a flower. That's like saying 110%. It's an impossibility, and it is wonderful and glorious and deserved. We will move on to our callers in just a moment, but for now, let's get to our new sponsor, and that would be Faux Pox. Are you an introvert who's run out of excuses? Then meet Faux Pox, the anti-socialist's best friend. Judicial placement of these handy mole-sized pustules will ensure friendly folk flee your presence in droves. The little buggers gently adhere to the skin and easily peel right off. Even better, they're coated in aloe vera, leaving your skin better than before you pocked it. With both dry and oozing options in every packet, you'll be prepared for even the most demanding social occasions. So get ready to bring a pox upon every house with Faux Pox. Now, let's move on to our callers. Caller number 1. What say you about episode 15935?
Holy fawn witches. Wow, wow, wow! I cannot believe the fawn witch is Prince Raffia's mom. Never in a million seckle would I have guessed that. What I want to know this, though, is how this will affect Prince Raffia's vendetta against the Brambles. And I especially loved how the fawn witch, Kalista that is, put Lena in her place. Oh my word. This is going to be one juicy season. I cannot wait for the next episode. Thank you so much. Bye.
Excellent question on your part about how the situation will affect Raffia's ongoing vendetta against the Brambles. As we know, he despises the Brambles because he feels like they have ruined him and his family, even though he never knew about his mother, but he's just always had it in for them. They had the perfect life, the life he never had, and all that. That's really what it boils down to. And you did bring up something I did not, that Kalista put Lena in her place. At the end of the episode, it was very subtle, but we see Raffia edging away from Lena and toward Kalista. Does this mean Lena's high and mighty role is being diminished? We shall see. Fans have been pulled in between seasons, and it appears fans are not fans of Lena's. Even less so Dahlia, and she was written off, so we will see what becomes of the situation with Lena. Moving on to caller 2.
I gotta admit, when I found out that so many of the series regulars were gone, Slate, Citron, and saddest of all, Nanny, I thought the season was doomed for sure. But the Fey Witch Kalista shocker has given me hope. What a twist. I'll be sending good juju for the Nanny actress's health, and I wish the Slate and Citron actors success with their play and that they'll return to their love among the Brambles roles soon.
You are not alone in your sorrow about the loss of 3 of the main characters. I believe the writers and producers have a golden goose with the character and actor that plays Kalista. She's a very strong character, much more so now that she's no longer in faunwitch form but her regal, fey self. And we've needed a strong presence. With Nanny being taken out of the equation, we have needed an anchor, and I wonder if Kalista can be that anchor. And if not, whom? Viola? The male anchor, one would think, would be Stock. However, we don't know if he's staying on. And last, caller number 3.
I know the Fey Witch reveal is the big shocker of the season opener, but I can't get past the news about Stalk. What if he decides to leave the Weald? He and Viola have just finally settled into a healthy romantic relationship. The relationship we viewers have waited hundreds of years for. Ugh, I need some tea.
I agree about Stock. He's one of my favorites. He's rather what they call a dreamboat. His devotion to Viola, his strength of character. I realize he had a moment of weakness with Rosie Katie Diddleleaf back in previous seasons, but he'd been a man scorned and felt that he had no opportunity with the love of his life, and can you blame him? Whatever becomes of Stock and his relationship with Viola, I feel it's safe to say we are in for a nail-biting season, one that I am already enjoying immensely. Now, normally at the end of an episode, there is a little tagline saying what to expect in the following week, with 2 or 3 teasers to get us back. However, they have dispensed with that this time and just cut to the end because the episode was a little bit extra long, and quite frankly, I do not believe anyone needs incentive to tune in next week. We have all the incentive we could desire with this incredible, powerful season opener. And so I look forward to joining you next Plulume for episode 15936. We have no title yet. And until then, my friends, keep calm or not. I vote not. I vote kick up your heels, have some fun. But either way, bramble on.